Good morning, everyone, to a very chilly start of the day all the way in South Africa, where we are enjoying the company of some beautiful impala. Now, they were not as relaxed as they are right now. They were busy alarm calling earlier on, so I wonder what spooked them. My name is Ellie, and on camera with me today is Senzo, and we are very happy to be taking you guys around. Now, if you've got any questions or any comments, please feel free to send them through using the hashtag SafariLive on Twitter or by using the YouTube chat. Now, as I said earlier, this impala were a little bit stressed a few moments ago, and it seemed that they were alarm calling at something. Now, there's nothing we can see around here, and I know Tristan's also wanting to check quarantine, but I would ask everyone just to keep an eye on the dam cam, because if it's one of our beloved spotted creatures, they might pop up in that direction. You never know. Oh, the dam cam is not working, but Tech is looking into it. I've just heard from FC. I apologize for then jumping the gun and getting excited. But who knows, maybe we'll be able to pick something up on the way. Ooh, very chilly this morning. I believe it's 21 and 73 degrees. Definitely 69. I don't know why I can't do temperature. I just feel it's either cold or hot. Now, nothing much here, so I'm going to go down the other road so that we don't disturb the lodge guests, and we head down. Maybe we'll see something. Let's see what else. Whew. Very chilly this morning. Right, I think Byron is on the search of not cats but something else, so let's head over to him and find out.
Good morning, my name is Byron, and on camera with me this morning is Fergus. And I don't really know what our plan is. We're going to head towards the western side of Djuma this morning, to an area known as Sandy Patch. And I'm going to have a look for any leopard activity, any sign of leopards. I heard Tristan say, now just as you crossed me, he did see tracks of lions. These are hyena tracks that I can see over here, but apparently he saw tracks of lions. Didn't quite get which direction they were going, so maybe when you go across to him, he will let you know. And if he's going to, or if he thinks it's worth trying to track those lions, just double checking. A lot of hyena activity last night up and down this road. It's good news. I haven't seen a hyena for a while. Okay, well, I'm going to continue west. Let's go across to Tristan now and find out where those lion tracks are going.
Well, we are sitting here and we've managed to pick up tracks for what looks like maybe the Nkuhumas pride. So we have a situation where there's a lot of different lion tracks here, and there looks like some small ones as well, and they were moving down this area. Now, Ali says the impalas were looking nervous, and so I wonder if these Nkuhumas are not here somewhere. Now, as Byron mentioned, my name is Tristan, and on camera today I've got Wiem. There we go. Nice, Wiem. Now, we're going to try and follow up on these tracks and see where they go. There was impala's alarm calling when we left Inga's this morning to come down to camp to get ready, and so maybe these lions are not too far away. But I don't want to spend too much time chatting and not moving too much, because as we know with the lions here on Djuma is that sometimes they use this like a running track where they just run straight south and off of our area. So I'm going to try and just kind of keep up with the tracks and see where they go. It looks like they're kind of still moving along, so hopefully I'm going to pick them up somewhere close by. I'm just going to have to keep checking as we go, because it looks as though some of them have cut off now. Just trying to check. It's a bit dingy, so tracking is not the easiest in dingy weather like this. We're going to have to just try. I see someone was lying on the road here. There's a few lying down spots. So let's have a look if we can find these guys. Hopefully they've just gone straight down onto Philemon's. That's what I'm hoping. And that we're going to catch them waddling down the road with nice big bellies after having a good meal. Is that possible? I suppose it could be. I don't see any tracks here though, which means that maybe they've already cut off and gone the other way. So I want to just try and check on Philemon's dip and see if there's nothing on Philemon's dip. Then I've got to go towards Rebecca's. Now they still go down the road here, so it doesn't actually look like that many lions. It looked like more on quarantine. It could be maybe 2 or 3 lions that are together here, which is interesting. So just want to try and see if we can drive on these tracks quite quickly, and hopefully, like I say, we'll catch up with whoever this is. If it's one of the Birminghams as well, then we've got a problem, because the Birminghams walk far too fast through this area. Now, Darlene, that lone lioness, news on that, she was seen the day after we saw her, going south from Jackie's Sabi house area, Cheetah Plains section. Sounds like towards Mala Mala. But since then, no other updates on her. We don't know how she's doing, but she was looking still quite skinny in the photo that I saw of her yesterday. And so I would imagine that she's still battling a little bit with trying to get everything. There they are. They're in the road. We've got them in front of us. Excellent. So managed to track them down. There's a couple of them in front. I can't see how many, but there's definitely 1, 2, 3 4 that I can see. So that's good news. Let's try and catch up with them. And little cubs. So it's the Nkuhumas pride that we've got, which is good news. They're all here by the looks of things, and so they're going to hopefully stay in the road. It doesn't look like any of the Birminghams are here at the moment. Our little one is going to be right in the middle. There we go. So there's the whole pride walking down the road, which is fantastic news. So we've got sub-adults, a couple of the females, some cubs. Doesn't look like any of the boys that are with us, but hopefully they will be around as well. And it looks as though they're quite hungry and like they want to hunt. So I'm going to try and see if I can kind of follow them through the course of the morning and see what we can find with them. And while we watch them sort of take a hiatus and just listen, let's send you across to Byron with a rather snoozy elephant.
Well done, Tristan. That was a really quick find. Bumping into lions like that, that's awesome. Now look what we found. A sleeping elephant. A young elephant. Oh, every now and then you just see the trunk and the ears. It's throwing sand on itself. That is wonderful. Now the rest of the herd is off to my right. We can't actually see them now. They're behind some trees. But this young elephant clearly feels very relaxed. And he's sleeping. And for those of you who always wonder, do elephant lie down and sleep? Well, here's a clear indication that they do. It's not for very long, maybe an hour or 2 at a time when they do. It doesn't happen that regularly. But wonderful. This young elephant has decided to lie down and every now and then just throws sand over itself. I wonder if it's to cool itself down, keep itself cool. Maybe you heard the branches breaking from the other elephant nearby. This is lovely. This is lovely. Consulting detective, I don't think this elephant is eating while it's lying down. Usually when they do lie down and rest like this, they don't eat. It's only when they're up and active. Actually, yeah, I think he's enjoying the sand so much. And notice often what they do, and especially the larger elephant, if they do lie down, they will lie down on a bit of a ridge or an incline, so it's a bit easier to get up again. And this one's just decided the side of the road is a perfect spot for a nap and to rest. I'm going to try and move forward slightly just to show you this other elephant. Yeah, that elephant's completely relaxed there. That is wonderful. There we go. Here's one of the adults just next to me. There's an entire herd here. Jamie, I wonder why you say that. You say that for some reason it sometimes it scares you. It always scares you when you see an elephant lying down like that. I wonder if you think perhaps do you get a fright thinking something's happened to the elephant when you see it lying down? I must admit, when we saw this dark object lying in the road from a distance, Fergus and I were also a little concerned. But then we did see the movement, so we thought, oh no, it must be all right. But we weren't really sure what it was at first. And then, yes, as Fergus said, once we found out it was a sleeping elephant, we then became envious. Okay, I'm going to sit with these elephants for a while. Let's go across to Tristan and see what those lions are up to.
Well, one of these lions, the sub-adult male, has decided he is king of the castle, and he's perched himself on top of a mound and looking very regal on top there. The rest of the sub-adults are slowly coming down and are moving in this direction. The females have all gone already. They've moved quite far, and I think these sub-adults know the females are hunting, and so they've just sat back and are allowing the girls to go and do their work. And so what I might do is try and see if I can catch up with the females, because if the females are hunting, they might have spotted something already, and that's why these sub-adults know just to stay behind and to stay where they are. Now the male has just stood up, he's having a look at the others, and he's going to go trotting after them, as only a boy can do. So they seem as though they kind of just maybe going to wander off for water. There you can see the little cub right at the top, and then one of the sub-adults in the front, one of the sub-adult girls in front. So there's the little one bouncing down the road, as it does. Now, just now when we came past it and drove down towards this area, we found that this little cub was almost chasing the car. It was kind of trotting along with us for a while until it met up with the others, and then it decided just to sit there. But there come the rest. How cool is this? There we go. Hello, little one. Well, what are you up to? You can't tackle that. It's too big for you. It's not going to stop it trying. I tell you what, though, that little cub is going to be a seriously strong individual later in life, because it probably gets bullied all the time by all of these sub-adults. The sub-adults will be, they'll pick on it quite a bit, and because it doesn't have any other siblings, it's got to play with the sub-adults all the time. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all works out. Now, Tax has just joined us, so he's going to stay with the Nkuhuma sub-adults. I want to just shoot ahead quickly and just see what's going on with the adults, because they crossed over and there was already one female that I saw going up this hill, so I want to see where she's gone and what's going on the top. We know there was some buffalo in this area yesterday, and so maybe they're busy hunting a herd of buffalo. I don't know. We're going to try and have a little look, and while we do, I'm going to send you back across to Byron and those sleeping lions.
Well, hopefully those lions, I hope Tristan stays with those lions. Sorry, I'm thinking about the elephant and the lions at the same time. So this is a great start for us. Lions and this wonderful herd of relaxed elephants. Well, this is already a lot better than the start of yesterday's drive. Yesterday's drive was a little quiet for us. Although Tristan did get to see Tingana. Look, yeah, is it waking up? Is it going to stand up? I think Tristan's also a bit confused this morning. Yeah, I think he linked across to me with sleeping lions. No, Tristan, you have the lions, we have sleeping elephant.
Tristan, always a laugh.
A laugh a minute with Tristan.
A minute.
Len, the lions, now in this area, I haven't heard of or seen lions hunting elephant. But an elephant that's lying down like this is vulnerable to lions. There are prides up in Botswana that have been successful with hunting elephant. However, it's not very common. It doesn't happen often. But yes, in this situation, this elephant would be more vulnerable than any other time to lions. But I don't think I don't think the Nkuhumas pride. I don't think the Nkuhumas pride would go for these elephants, and also these adults. If you look just off to the side of here, these adults are very close by, and they would protect that elephant definitely. So if there was any danger, they would most likely protect them. Oh, go quickly! Is moving. Is he going to stand up? Let's see. Ferg says this is exactly how he got out of bed this morning. Look at that. Oh, that is wonderful.
There we go. Well done, big guy.
Well done. That is a special sighting, not something you see every day. Yeah, that's a lovely little sighting. That was great. Okay, let's quickly go across back to Tristan. Let's see if he's worked out what animal he is actually following. Is it a lion or elephant?
Byron, I'm just trying to keep you on your toes. After yesterday you couldn't find a leopard sitting underneath a tree with no grass, I thought I'd just check if you're awake this morning and actually know what you're doing and whether or not you've got, an elephant or lions, and if you actually caught me. But I'm glad that you are awake. It's good to have Byron awake. It means that hopefully he will spot the leopard this morning under the tree. Now, the whole pride is starting to come through now, so it seems as though so far I've counted 4 adult females. The rest of them are just here on my left-hand side. They're going to come out nicely onto the road fairly shortly. We just had to get around onto the other side, and they kind of stopped, and all the cubs have now caught up, and there they go. I believe that there are tracks for buffalo around. We know the buffalo was seen in this area yesterday. I just want to try and get back onto the road, because we'll get them all filing out onto the road itself, where it's going to be a lot more open than it is here. So here it's quite thick and dense and a lot of bushes, but where they're going is going to be nice and open and clear, and they're heading towards sort of Treehouse Dam area. So I wonder if they've maybe just missed the tracks of these buffalo, or they've singled out an individual dugger boy that might have been dropped off the herd. You never know. It's interesting with the Nkuhumas pride, because sometimes this is what they do, is they know that there is a individual around, and then they try and start hunting these kind of lone male buffalo as opposed to these big herds. But they look like they mean business this morning. The way that they're walking is of females that want to try and kind of hunt and try and get food. It's going to be very cool. I just want to try and get all the way in front of them, and then we'll turn around and we can try and kind of reverse with them walking up the road. It's going to be epic is what it's going to be. So say good morning to Tax. Morning, Tax. How are you? Good. So we're going to try and just quickly turn around now. And like I said, we'll try and just reverse with them, which should be quite fun. Evie, you're wondering about these black spots on the lion's ears and whether or not they serve a purpose. So yes, they serve a purpose. Those black spots on the top of the ears help with them being able to see each other when they are hunting. So when they are going after various food items and they spread out, those black spots on the back of the ears means that the females can see one another. It also helps with the cubs following their mother in thick areas where there's lots of grass. They are able to get a situation where the cubs can then see mom walking through the grass and then follow it. It's much the same as the black tip to the tail. It's basically a following mechanism. Now I just want to try and keep going straight back. Sorry, VM, I know it's quite bumpy, but it's just such a cool view to have the lions walking down the road straight at us. And it looks like Amber Eyes in front at the moment. I think it's Amber Eyes in front. It looks like it's her. But they are a really good looking pride, aren't they? Look at how sort of strong and muscular they look. They're always kind of well built, and they never look as though they're completely out of it. The one female that I don't see is the old female with the hip injury. I haven't seen her yet. I'm pretty sure she is here somewhere, but I haven't seen her yet. But how cool is this? Oh, look at that little bit of bonding that takes place. There comes the other ones. Nope, they've decided they're not going to do that. Now I'm just going to keep going with them. I don't want to be too close to them because otherwise they might go off the road and away from us. So if we just give them a nice amount of space, then they generally are quite happy just to walk in the road in front of us. Bree, it is a lion parade at the moment. They are parading as well as you could ever imagine. They're kind of walking down the road in single file, and it's a long line these days. I mean, obviously they don't have the males with them today, but still, it's 12 lions is a lot of lions to look out for and watch, and so it is getting quite large, this pride, and hopefully it will continue. Sorry, VM, I know I'm reversing badly. I'm trying to just look out because I can see something in the background here. I think it's just some impalas that are busy shouting at the lions. I don't know if the impalas would have seen them from where we are, but I heard an alarm call behind us, so I just want to get my binoculars out and have a look behind me and just see what it is. No, it's buffalo. There's buffalo behind us. So they're going to be hunting buffalo. They're all lying down behind us here, and I'm just going to let Tax know because I'm sure Tax wants to maybe just catch up with us. Yeah, Tax, there's a Shlambi and Nyari behind us here that they're walking straight towards. Now they're hunting a warthog, I believe. So they seem as though they've spotted the warthog. Look at how she's running. She's going to come running right past us. So typical Amber Eyes, who's focused on that. Now, I don't think they've seen the buffalo yet. The buffalo are all the way behind us, lying down. They've spotted a warthog instead. And I'm pretty sure this pride would rather go after a buffalo than a warthog, but if there's a meal on option, then you never know what's going to happen. So they definitely are hungry and they're interested, but I think the buffalo would be a far better bet, except Amber Eyes is now focused on this warthog. I don't think she's going to let it up anytime soon. The problem is her chasing a warthog certainly will set off these buffalo, and the buffalo will become far more aware that these lions are around. But I wonder if she's going to go try and dig it out. You see, she's walking straight towards the mound. VM, did you see the warthog in the mound? It came out and then it ran back in. Or did it run away? It ran away. Okay, so I didn't see. Now, we're going to do a action broadcast just because of what's around us. And we're going to try and see if we can maybe see if these lions are going to hunt. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to a cloudy South Africa and lions that are on the prowl. So, my name is Tristan, and on camera today I've got VM, and as I was saying, these lions are on the prowl. They're busy hunting at the moment, and there's lots going on, because not only are the lions kind of moving towards a termite mound where there is a warthog that we've just seen run, but there is a whole bunch of buffalo that are behind us as well. You see the lions? They've just gone on chasing there. So they're chasing something. Let's try and see if we can catch up with them. I don't know if they're going to get this right because, well, warthogs are quite agile animals and lions need to be fairly quick. But you can see they've run into the bush here and they look like they're chasing it. But the problem is it's taking them away from the buffalo, which is a meal that this pride really likes. Now, what I'm kind of hoping is that this warthog managed to get away from them and that they actually end up going more towards the buffalo than anything else, because the buffalo is what this pride specializes in. They're very good at hunting buffalo. Warthogs are not so much. So their counterparts in other parts of the world are pretty good at hunting warthogs, but these lions here in South Africa, it's not really their speciality. And the reason why is because warthogs are really quite small for a big pride. There's 12 members of this pride in total, and that means that it's quite difficult for them to get a lot of food out of a warthog. But something like a buffalo is the perfect amount of food for lions. Now remember, this is interactive and it is live, so you can actually ask questions. You can just post your questions in the comment section below and we will try and answer as many as possible. I think they've missed the warthog, which might be a sort of blessing in disguise, because they're now mobile straight towards where those buffalo are all sleeping, and the buffalo have no idea that they're here. So these lions moving towards the buffalo is actually a really good thing. And what we're going to do is we're going to try and just get back to the road, because what I want is I don't want to try and be crashing through the bush and kind of alerting the buffalo to the lion's presence. So if I get back onto the road, it might be a situation where the lions will have a better opportunity to try and hunt. Now, Aaron, you're wondering what time it is. It's 6 o'clock in the morning. well, 5 to 6 according to Kirsty. My watch is a little bit faster, but it's 5 to 6 in the morning, and so it is perfect time for lions to be active. It's also a cloudy, cool, overcast morning, and lions tend to be a lot more active in weather like this than they are in bright sunshine. Now, what I want is for one of these females to go on top of this mound to be able to then see the buffalo, because I don't think they've actually seen the buffalo yet. I think they were trailing buffalo, but they actually haven't seen them as yet. Now, the reason why she's standing where she is because she's looking into the hole of this mound, hoping that maybe another warthog might be inside. And you'll find lions will actually sometimes dig out warthogs. But there we go. You see the one lioness is going to go on top of the mound itself, and she's going to probably from there be able to spot those buffalo. If she just looks to her left, that's where the buffalo are. And like I say, this pride, when they see buffalo, they go into a completely different mode, and they really will try and pursue them as much as possible. Whether they'll be successful is obviously remains to be seen, because lions are not always the most successful hunters. But let me reposition Veer so that you can see this lioness better on top of the mound. So, Caitlin, the lionesses most certainly will bring down buffalo without the males. You'll find that they are capable, particularly because this pride, there's 5 adult lionesses. So working as a unit together, they should be able to do it. Also, this pride, because of the area that they're in, buffalo is pretty much the animal that they've learned to hunt from cubs. So they've grown up hunting buffalo, so they have very good technique when hunting buffalo, and so they can and will bring down a buffalo if they get anywhere near it. They are probably one of the most successful hunting prides we've got. Look, you see she's digging, so she's starting to dig into this mound. I wonder if she can hear another warthog inside here, and that's why she's starting to dig down and try and see if she can get it. The reason why they'll dig for warthogs is because warthogs, even though they are not a huge meal for lions, we're in a situation where it's probably much easier to dig for a warthog than it is to wrestle with a buffalo, and so it makes life a lot easier. Look, you see she's going down into the hole, and she's digging as much as she can. The other lions are also coming up. There's some of the sub-adults. So like I was saying, in this pride, there's 5 adult females, and then there's 6 sub-adults, 5 of which are girls and 1 boy. Now, the rest of the sub-adults haven't quite caught up yet. They're slowly but surely starting to arrive, and so we'll see them arriving. And then there's 1 small cub in amongst all of this as well that is about 6 months old. Now, let's see if she starts digging in here. What they're going to do is the thing about this is they've got both sides covered. So if they can dig out far enough, they're going to get to a point where the warthog maybe gets trapped and it tries to come out a different hole, and that's why one lioness will sit at one side and another lioness on the other side. But in saying all of this, warthogs are no sort of easy feat in terms of the way that warthogs will try and fight. They'll also be inside that mound with their tusks facing forward. So a lioness is going to be very careful about the way that she does it. Now here comes the young male who's just getting towards 2 years old now. All these sub-adults are almost 2 years old, and so let's see whether or not he gets involved. They're just starting to learn how to hunt these sub-adults and how to contribute into what's going on. Look, you see how they're interested? So they've obviously seen the adults do this before, and they're going to be learning from this process. Now, sorry, Kirst, if you can just repeat that again. There comes another lioness past us. So, Jerry, our presence doesn't really affect the lions, and I'll tell you why. Because these lions have grown up with the cars being around, we limit the number of vehicles that are with the lions. So there's only, generally, we'll put in maximum of 3 cars in the area. We also, you can see the lions have not paid any attention to us whatsoever. So as long as we give them space to do what they want to do and we don't really harm them too much, then they're able to kind of do everything naturally. The other thing is that they don't see us as food or a threat or anything like that. So they're going about their business just like they would do normally. But this poor warthog, if there is a warthog inside there, it is in a lot of trouble because there are a number of lions now that have come to the attention. There comes the little one. Hello, little one. You better be careful because a steam-rolling warthog is not going to be nice for a little cub, that's for sure. And this warthog, if it does come out, is going to come out at a rate of knots, and hopefully, like I say, it doesn't run straight at us because that won't be ideal at all. But they're still digging on the other side of the mound, and there must be something in there because they wouldn't be digging like this if they couldn't hear anything. So it obviously is a situation where they're hearing this warthog still moving around in there, and now what they're trying to do is they're trying to dig in and try and get as deep as they can inside there, which is pretty insane. It's amazing to actually watch how they go about it. Jacqueline, I agree. The warthog is definitely not going to be enough food for all of these lions. So luckily the buffalo are not too far away as well. It looks as though maybe they're losing interest a bit. I see some of the females are going off the mound now and walking away. And so I wonder if they've lost interest in actually trying to get to this warthog. Maybe the warthog's too deep down and they can't actually get as far enough in as they want to. And they've decided, well, buffalo is a better option than warthog. Let's just see how it plays out. They've spoiled for choice this morning. And it's interesting because we've had a situation where over the past few years we've had very dry conditions and there's been very few buffalo around, and so these lions have had to change a little bit of the way that they do things. Little cub, what are you doing? So the little one is being naughty because it could very easily get killed by a warthog that runs out of there. Big warthog male will have big tusks on the front of its face and can do a lot of damage to a little cub. So the little cub needs to be a bit careful, but it's following what the adults are doing. So it's learning from the adults, and that's why we're seeing it kind of coming down onto that shelf and actually looking around and sort of trying to investigate why the lionesses are looking inside there. Now, I think we're in a sort of temporary hiatus at the moment where they're trying to work out if they can get to it. Some of the lionesses are down and I think moving off towards the buffalo. This is all the sub-adults that are left. You see, look, they're digging, but not really in the right place. The young male hasn't quite gotten this movement down just yet, so he needs to dig in there. That's where he needs to start digging, but it's dangerous work going down that hole. He's going to have to be careful, and you can see lots and lots of flies. I think that the adults have actually moved off. I want to try and catch up with the adults because they're moving off towards the buffalo, and I think they'll be far more serious about the buffalo hunt than they are going to be about a warthog hunt. So let's just try and check. I want to just see where the females are, because if they've moved, like I say, the buffalo are straight up ahead of us. So we might have a situation where they're already kind of watching those buffalo rather than this warthog already, which is good news in a way because it means the hunt continues, and I'm far more confident of their buffalo hunting ability than I am of their warthog hunting ability. So let's just coast along there. The buffalo are straight ahead of us. So, and there's the other female lioness. So she's just come out. This is the injured female that we've got. See, she's got a rather nasty injury on her hip, but the buffalo are straight ahead, and she's on the one side of the buffalo. There the buffalo are. They don't know that the lions are here. So the lions seem as though they're pushing towards. There's some more lions. They are going. They've spotted the buffalo now. So let's see how this plays out. I'm pretty sure they're going to try and hunt these buffalo as best that they can. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get onto the road and give us a chance to be able to kind of stay out of the thickets, which means we won't alert these buffalo to the lions' presence nearly as much. And what we also want is to try and position us in a way that what's going to happen here basically is lions are going to run in and buffalo are going to stampede all over the place. And so it would be nice to be positioned in a way that we can try and see the buffalo and try and work out where they're going to run. And so stopping where we are here, hopefully the lions are going to chase the buffalo away from us rather than towards us. But that wound on her hip, for those of you that are concerned about it, looks really bad and it looks very nasty. But I can promise you that wound was maybe 4 times the size than it is right now. And so it's happened a long time ago, and it's slowly but surely starting to kind of stitch together and try and start healing. So it's going to take a little longer until it does heal properly, but she is getting much, much better. It doesn't look like it, but she is much better than what she was 3-4 months ago. But there's definitely going to be a hunt. How long it's going to take until they start hunting, I'm not quite sure. You know, lions are patient animals. They're going to be sizing up exactly what's going on, and then they're going to try and start moving in. But you can see they've spotted the buffalo now, and now it's time for them to start going after them. It's going to be really exciting to see how this goes. The buffalo still don't know that the lions are here. They're all lying down, and so it's a situation where we're going to have a bit of a standoff for now, and then you'll find that the lions will rush in there, and what they're going to try and do is separate an individual and target a certain member of that buffalo herd. So they're going to look for maybe a female or a youngish one. That's going to be much easier to bring down than those big males, because the big males with those massive horns are very dangerous for a lion. And this lioness, and the injury that she's got, could have potentially been from hunting buffalo. We don't really know. We didn't see what happened to her. She just kind of ended up with the injury. So it's a dangerous game, and they need to be very, very careful about the way that they do it. But it's good news that this lioness is here, because she's the eldest of the pride, and she's been around for quite some time and will have the experience on how to hunt these buffalo and how to bring them down. And so it's going to be interesting how they go about it. But you can see she's motionless at the moment, and all she's doing is she's studying this process. She's trying to work out, okay, which way are we going to go? How are we going to get into these buffalo? But the fact that she's on the right and the rest of the pride on the left is not the worst thing, because they can almost kind of do this pincer movement around the buffalo and try and chase buffalo towards each other. And what they're going to try and do is try and just get onto the back of one and then pin it, and then they try and just wear that buffalo down. But the buffalo will fight back, and you'll find that whole herd will try and protect each other. And so they've got to be pretty good about the way that they do it, and they've got to be pretty efficient about getting onto the back of that buffalo and separating it out. And then you'll find some of the females will have to run as blockers and almost try and keep the buffalo herd at bay while the others are busy trying to kill it. So it's an interesting process watching, and it's the age-old battle that has raged for many, many years out here in the Kruger Park area. It's almost like the calm before the storm. It's gotten quiet now. Now, I believe a lot of you are saying this is very exciting. It is as exciting as it gets. Like I say, buffalo lions is probably one of the most intense battles that we have out here in the natural world in this part of South Africa. And the reason why I say that is because, well, buffalo are one of the strongest animals that we have, pound for pound. They are incredibly aggressive when they feel like their life is threatened. And so they often get quite sort of grumpy, and they'll fight back, like I say, whereas the lions, they use their power in numbers, and it's this kind of game, the chess game that goes on. And so you see lions going, buffalo going, and it kind of becomes this back and forth battle over some time. So it's going to be really interesting to watch. I know that these females are looking for buffalo. They haven't had as many buffalo as they normally have over the course of a few months or year, because we've had so few buffalo due to the drought. But we've just had really good rains, which means that the grass is all stood up, and that means the buffalo have now come in to feed off it, and these lionesses are on their trail on purpose. So let's see how this goes. What we'll also find is all the sub-adults probably would have backed off now. They would have lay up and watching the adults go about it, and they're going to learn now from the adults as to how they go about hunting buffalo. And then over time, those sub-adults are going to also start joining. So it's not only do we have the hunt going on, but we also have a learning process happening. It's going to be super interesting to watch how this plays out. I can promise you that they are going to hunt, though. I can guarantee that they will chase these buffalo at some point. Now, Linda, you say the suspense is killing you. It is one of those things that it kind of, you sit here and you wait and you wait and you wait, and it kind of builds to this crescendo, and then all of a sudden chaos will erupt, and lions will run, buffalo will run, there'll be stampeding and grunting, and lions kind of growling if they're on top of a buffalo, and it all gets quite crazy. So as much as it's a lot of suspense now, it is going to get quite chaotic pretty shortly, I would imagine. It just takes one lioness to break cover, and then it will go crazy. Alaromoa, yes, there are buffalo cows in amongst that herd, so it's not only males in that grouping. There are a lot of males in there, and calves, so little babies. So yes, there also should be calves. If it's the same herd we've been seeing yesterday, there was little babies in that herd. It doesn't look like a massive herd in comparison to what we've seen over the past few days. There's been a buffalo herd that's been hanging around in the last couple of weeks that's been over 500, and they're a really large herd. And then they kind of split up into this group of 250 that kind of hangs around. But this looks like maybe only 40, 50 animals. And so this would be a manageable size for this pride of lions. And I hope there's some calves in there that would maybe kind of look like it's tantalizing enough for the lions. But the lions at the end of the day want to try and go after more than just calves. Because there's so many of them, a calf is really not enough food for the whole pride. They need to get more. They need to be able to get something like a fully grown female buffalo, or maybe even a male, to feed them really well. But let's see, she's still watching. You can see she's very alert, and she's not moving because she doesn't want to give her position away. So, child of the universe, a lot of strategy is going into this hunt. That's why this lioness isn't moving. She's working out exactly what's going on. She's watching her fellow pride members to see what they're up to and what they're doing. And so she's kind of bouncing between where she's going to position herself, where the others are, and they're going to try and work out a way to get around these buffalo. Look, you see she's going now, so she's trying to get back into the thickets. So what she's going to do is she's going to get into the thickets, and she's going to try and loop around on that side. And what you probably find is she's going to be the chasing lioness. So if she can get round onto the other side of these buffalo, and then she chases them towards the net, that is the other lionesses on the other side of the road, that's how they often do it. So there's a lot of strategy that goes into lion hunting. And what amazes me about watching this is how these lionesses are able to pick up subtle cues from each other without any communication whatsoever. So just through body language, movement of each lioness, they're able to coordinate themselves and get themselves into positions where they're able to hunt. I find it absolutely fascinating how lions work, and predators like this that are group-based predators, so even things like hyenas and cheetah coalitions, how they're able to tell each other about what's going on just by kind of looking and seeing what the other one's body language is. Now, what I'm going to do is just roll forward a little bit and try and just keep a visual of at least some of the lionesses so we know roughly what's going on, because otherwise it becomes quite difficult to work out which way things are going to get chased. And so we're just going to try and roll forward a little bit. The buffalo are quite used to vehicles kind of viewing them, so they're not going to be too mobile. There comes some more of the sub-adults. They're moving. This lioness is now stopped and is just sitting dead still. She's still kind of watching the buffalo. So what I'm going to do is just move and put ourselves in a position where we'll be able to stop for the remainder of the morning. But there's the buffalo all lying down. You can see they kind of having a bit of a rest. This is what buffalo do in the evenings and early mornings, is that they'll sleep like this in a fairly open patch in case the lions are around, and then as soon as it gets a little bit warmer, then they're up and starting to move and feed. And the reason why they don't like feeding during the night is because, well, they make a lot of noise when they feed. So there's a lot of hooves moving, there's a lot of stamping, there's a lot of bellowing, and it makes it difficult to hear lions. So they prefer to rest like this until the sun's up a little bit, and then they start to move and start to go and feed. But this is a perfect size herd for these lions to be hunting. I just saw the lioness that we had on our right side. She's just come past me now, and she's still mobile towards where they are. So she's slowly but surely sneaking up towards them. So Matt, you asking how many lions I can currently see that are stalking. So there's the 5 adult females that are stalking at the moment, and then there's the sub-adult male. Looks like he's also right up in the front lines, and 1 or 2 of the sub-adult females. So in total, it's probably about 7 or 8 of them that are stalking. I think that some of the sub-adult females are probably still a little nervous of buffalo, but at the moment we have all the adult lionesses that are in front. So there's some of them there. You can see how well camouflaged they are and how well hidden. And I can guarantee you exactly what's going on here is that lioness is trying to get all the way around those buffalo, and she's going to try and chase them straight she's going to try and come around and push these buffaloes straight at the herd, or the rest of the pride that's lying in wait on our left-hand side. So I'm pretty sure that's what's happening. It's what they often do is they'll use one as the sort of chaser, and then the rest are the ones that try and grab. And they rely on the buffalo stampeding towards where the rest are, and then they single out an individual. As those buffalo break cover and run, they single out a female or a male or a sub-adult that they then jump onto and they try and grab. But there's lots of females in here, so I wouldn't be surprised if there are some calves as well in this section that are in serious danger at the moment. You can see the buffalo are alert. Even though they're sleeping, their heads are up, they're listening, they're looking in this direction, so they are alert. They know that probably... There we go. Wait, hold on. Look, the whole herd's up. Now, this is where we've got to be a bit careful. You see how they form a front? Look at that. You see there is a calf in there as well. So the whole herd is now moving straight towards the lions. The lions are on our left-hand side. So let's see if they're going to break cover. Yes, the lions are going after them on the left. This is insane. So here the lions go. Look, the lions are here running through. So they are going after... Look. They're going after the female with the calf. There comes the others. They're coming to chase her. So the big bulls are in here as well. Now there's other lions on our left, but they spotted the calf. That's what they were going for. So the calf is the one that's going to be in the most danger. They're going to try and shift and move this herd around to try and get this calf isolated. You see, that's what they want, is they want the calf to be left on its own, and then they can run in and grab it. So there's lions on all sides at the moment, and this is what they want, is to try and kind of get to that calf. Look, you see how she's coming in? So she's going to try and do this. Now she'll want to wear this female down as much as she can and try and get to that little baby. The little baby's going to have trouble. You see how she gives way to the adult male? Now, the rest of the pride needs to come in as well and help this female. Otherwise, she's going to have a problem. But here comes the rest of the pride. They're coming trotting this direction. See, here they come. So they've now going to try and single out this calf. There comes a big bull who's chasing them. Now, this is what I was saying about lions and buffalo. It's absolute pandemonium when they decide that they actually want to chase. So they've now worked out that there's a female and a young one. Now, let's see what's going to happen here. So they try and wear these buffalo down. You see, is they try and go after them, and they try and get a situation where they tire them out. And the big bulls are the ones that are coming into the aid of the cows. You see how these males are the ones that are trying to defend the calf, and so they are the big enforcers of this whole unit. So they're going to try and keep these lions at bay. So the big males out, then these are the calves in front, and the lions are going to have a tough time of it, because as long as the bulls are trying to protect the herd, getting close to those calves is going to be almost impossible. But the lions won't give up. They now know that they can try and start causing cracks and weaknesses. So they're going to dive into these herds, and they're going to try and push them as much as possible. A lot of the lions are behind me. Tam, you say that your heart is racing. I know, it's crazy, isn't it? It just becomes an absolute kind of situation where your heart beats at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and now the real war starts. It now becomes a kind of war of the trenches. You can see lionesses are running all over the place. The sub-adults probably are a little nervous of this whole thing at the moment. They don't quite know how to handle what's going on. So you see there are some other cars that are here that are just in the area, and I wonder if maybe let's turn, because I don't want to get too close inside all of this, because what happens is when the lions chase each other and chase the buffalo, it becomes a situation, as you saw, where there's a stampede, and if you're caught in the middle of that, you're in trouble. So there we go. There's a nice view of lions and buffalo. How crazy is this? What a way to start our day. Guy, you're wondering if it's really live. It is really live. We are out in the middle of Africa watching this happening right now. So it is as live can be. And you can see here come some of the sub-adults. So they're trying to watch the adults to see how to do this. And what's going to happen is you're going to find that these lions are going to keep trying to push these buffalo. I don't know if they've gotten this right. I think they've unfortunately went a little early, and the opportunity to get that calf was blown by the fact that it was just one lioness. If there had been the other lionesses there, they would have been able to try and kind of tempt that female to chase one, and then somebody else could have run in and grabbed it. But look, there's a big bull buffalo that's still kind of watching. Maybe what they're going to try and do is separate one bull, and then they're going to try. But no, here comes a buffalo. You see, he's charging in, and the lioness is the one that's held her ground. You see how the sub-adults ran there? So they're still very nervous of buffalo, and rightly so. If a buffalo gets hold of one of these lions, this whole herd will get involved, and they'll trample and stampede and try and hurt these lions as much as possible. So look at that. That is a picture of Africa. You've got the lioness and a big bull buffalo kind of standing his ground. And isn't it incredible? Did you see how immediately the bulls came right out to the fore to protect this herd? It's absolutely amazing to me how it works with both the lions and the buffalo, how they are both so organized, even in a moment of panic. Now, that little cub needs to be careful. So cub, you see right at the back, out on the fringes, and lionesses in front at the moment. Now, hopefully these lionesses are going to, like I say, try and just kind of single out an individual and keep trying to hunt. That's one. But you see the bulls are now turning, going back to the herd. They've almost like, we've done our job. But this hunt is by no means over. You're going to find these lions are going to continue to push these buffalo. It's difficult to keep count of all the lions though, because I only see one lioness. I can't see where the other 4 lionesses are. They might also be right here kind of hunting. I know one lioness went to the right, but it's very difficult to know where everybody is in a situation like this. And like I say, we've got the best seat for now because we know where some of the lions are. The buffalo are not far away, and so that means we can at least watch what's going on from this point of view. Now here comes one of the bulls again. Here comes some big boys from the buffalo herd. They coming in trotting. You can see the size of them. They are not small, particularly these males. And these are all bulls that have come out. So they're doing their job. They're defending their herd. They're making sure that they are pushing all of these lions away from where the vulnerable females and calves are. Now, can you see some more of them? There come some more lions off that side. So they slowly but surely, it almost looks like the lions are starting to regroup. And they've spread this herd quite a bit now. You can see the herd is spread in the background there. And what they're probably trying to do is just trying to create pockets of buffalo and break this herd up. And then they can start trying to go after females more than anything. But I can promise you, as soon as they jump onto a buffalo, if they do, that these males are going to come rushing in. They're going to have a situation where they're going to get very upset very quickly, the boys, and they're going to try and come and chase those lions off. And the lions are going to have to almost hold their nerve. But here come all the females. You see them coming out? So that's female buffalo all in front. And this means that these lions might try and go after them. Aunt Jo, you said you never seen a sunrise safari on Safari Live this insane. Well, it is absolutely crazy. It's a bit of a bang to start the morning with, that's for sure. We've kind of just found these lions lounging in the road, and we didn't expect any of this to happen. Now there's more lions coming around the back of us. I think they're trying to get to these females, so they're going to try and run in and grab females more than anything else. But the problem is there's lots of male buffalo all around the fringes that are going to try and protect them. But look, noses up, they're trying to smell what's going on. It's going to become a game of the proverbial cat and mouse, but in this case, the mouse is more the cat, and the buffalo have the upper hand now. Now that the element of surprise is gone, the buffalo now have to organize themselves and try and watch as much as possible. So there's one of the lions up on the mound, just watching what's going on. But I still don't see a lot of the lionesses. So a lot of the big girls, I can't see where they've gone. So I don't know if they're on the other side of this herd or if they're in these thickets. I'm not quite sure. It's kind of a bit pandemonium. It's mostly sub-adults that I can see at the moment. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Now, careful, girls. You young female like that needs to back off. Now look how the buffalo all come together when the lioness runs. So they all come. As soon as they see a lion, they come together, and it's a wall of animals that come straight towards us. Listen to them snorting as well. So they're sniffing, they're taking deep breaths, trying to hear. The lions are up on the mound. Now, we've got to hold our nerve a little bit here, because obviously we've got lions all around us at the moment, and as well as buffalo. And I was saying that they do stampede a little bit. You can see they're right in front at the moment. So what we're going to do is probably just try and reverse back a little bit and just try and give a bit more space to the buffalo and the lions, that if they are going to have a little interaction, that we're not caught in between, because the buffalo can be seriously dangerous even in a vehicle. I've seen a number of buffalo hit vehicles before in similar situations to this. So I just want to back out a little bit and allow the lions and buffalo a little bit more space. So we're just going to give them a little bit more room. The lions are also on our side over here, so there we go. That's a little bit better in terms of where we are and this kind of space that the animals all have. The important thing is, even when we watch things like this, is to try and let all of the animals have an equal opportunity. We don't want to influence anything that goes on between the lions or the buffalo. We don't want to have a situation where we by mistake chase any of them and they kind of get disturbed. So it's best just to try and get yourself out of the situation and have free path for both lions and buffalo to be able to move. Now, these sub-adults on top, they're going to have to stay here for now. They're going to have to be a bit careful that they don't get marooned on top there, because a buffalo will go up there to chase them. So it's a situation where they've got to be a little more careful as to what's going on. Now, I believe a lot of you are saying that we're very brave to sit in the positions that we're in. Well, I suppose, it's I don't know if it's bravery or stupidity at this stage. No, I'm joking. The thing about this is that the buffalo aren't really focused on us. If this was at night, I wouldn't be doing this at all. I certainly wouldn't have allowed the buffalo to get as close as this at night, because buffalo at night are a lot more panicky. They don't see nearly as well, and therefore they often would run straight into a vehicle. But now during the day like this, they can see what's going on. The lions can see what's going on. And so we have a situation where, we don't have to be as stressed as what's kind of the buffalo hitting us. The buffalo are at least aware that we're here, so it's all good. But it's just kind of, you don't know where to look in situations like this, because it's literally just animals all over the place. And this is the kind of buffalo that they want to go after, something of this size. This would be a perfect size buffalo for them to hunt. It's not nearly as big. You can see the horns are not as... Now, apologize about that. My audio turned off, so my little mic pack turned off, which is apologies. But I think what we're going to have is a situation now where everything is going to kind of be a standoff. I don't think these lions are actually going to get this right now. I think they've unfortunately wasted the opportunity by not getting that element of surprise. That first moment when they rushed the herd is when they needed to hit that calf and kind of grab it. Now the buffalo are far too organized, and I think we're going to have a situation where it's just going to be a standoff. You can see the lions are not really into it anymore. They're starting to back off. So we're going to carry on with our safari, and we're going to end this action broadcast. I hope that you had an absolutely epic time. And remember that you can find us if you search for us on the internet. Safari Live is what you look for. And we're going to continue with these buffalo and lions for the rest of the morning. Hopefully things will carry on. And if things do heat up again, we'll certainly go live once again for our action broadcast. But I hope that you've enjoyed it. So from VM and myself, it's been an absolute pleasure, and we'll hopefully see you all soon. Sure, well, wasn't that just something? That was a bit crazy, but I hope that you guys all enjoyed that as much as I did. It seems as though it's kind of the best of both worlds happened there. We got the hunt, but we didn't get the gore of a kill at this stage. But we'll carry on with this, because I think it's going to carry on, and it's not going to end just yet. I think there's still going to be a standoff for a while. But while we catch our breath, let's send you back across to Biceps Byron, who I think was needed in this whole situation for the lions to wrestle down a buffalo.
That's amazing. I'm so happy you got to see that. I must be honest, both Fergus and I were sitting here wondering what is going to happen with those lions and buffalo. I'm sure Tristan's going to hang around and see if there's any more action. We've been driving. We saw some what looked like fresh leopard dung, but funnily enough, no sign of any tracks. The section of road where we saw the dung was quite hard, and I think the leopard crossed directly over the road. I don't think it walked up and down the road at all. So I'm just having a look in this area. I'm going to head towards one of the dams and see maybe this leopard came across onto our side. It was on one of the boundary roads. So hopefully we will have some leopard luck this morning. It sounds like Ali has decided to go and spend some time at the water, and she's got one of the largest animals that we get in this area. Let's go and have a look.
We do. We are at Buffelshoek Dam. We decided to come and have a look at how much the rains had affected the dam. And it seems like the hippo is very, very happy because his real estate has gotten much, much bigger in the last few days. Now, it is quite impressive because at some point we could hear the buffaloes and the lion interaction far away from, obviously, from where we are, as they are more towards the center of the property that we're in, and we are more towards the most eastern corner. And when the buffaloes were making the noises, the hippo could hear them, and he started almost moving his head around and calling, so he clearly could perceive that there was some action going on somewhere further away. Now, lucky for him, exactly in the middle of that water hole, the lions would never try a chance to try and get to him. He's fairly safe of where he is, and he's got this massive dam all to himself. No other hippos, no other females, nothing else around here that would come and disturb him. Now, with so much water, it could be perhaps that a crocodile might come and join him at the dam for a little while, but we haven't seen any signs for them. So I think overall it's pretty safe. Did you hear all the commotion going on? You did. He's quite a shy hippo altogether. We see him often when we come here, and at least this time around he's got his head out. So a lot of the times he'll just go underneath the water. He doesn't like to be seen, and then he completely disappears. Now there we go with a hairy nose. Taking out all of the different things. Are you going to go back down, or are you going to delight us with your call once more? And if you're hearing that ding, ding, ding in the background, that is one of the blacksmith lapwing. Tiny little birds that always found close to the water. And they're called lapwings because that, blacksmith lapwings, because that noise reminds everyone of a blacksmith working. There we go, that's the culprit of the sound. Very beautiful birds, and they have the cutest tiny little chicks. I can't see any of them. I think these guys, either they raised them successfully for the summer, or unfortunately they had them all eaten. Now, the spot where it's walking used to have about another, I would say maybe 2 meters of shore. So the levels of the dam have gone up quite a lot. And a few days ago, we had a sighting of a male leopard and a herd of buffalo, potentially the same one that Tristan was in, coming down to the dam. Now, the area, had they come in here today and stood where they were the last time that we saw them, all of the buffalo would have pretty much been in the water, almost completely submerged. Here's a hippo again. It's not easy being you, hey, is it? Ah, there's a water bug. Proud cat, mama. A hippo can walk at about a speed of 8 kilometers in the water. It's almost like they gallop like an astronaut. It's almost like, they've got zero gravity inside of the water. But outside of the water, they're also very fast. They're about 30 kilometers an hour, which is obviously faster than humans and fast enough to try and run away from lions, which could probably be their only predator. Now it seems like we've got a young female water bug that's also now decided to come onto the water. But it seems like she's still taking its time, so while we wait for her, let's head over to Byron, who's with a beautiful little bird.
I've got 2 beautiful little birds, or one's just flown away, but there were 2 what look like juvenile or young crested barbets. You can see they don't quite have that beautiful vibrant coloration of the adults. I'm just sitting perched here looking around. Normally the barbets are quite active. I think this little one, you can see the feathers are quite ruffled, and no bright coloration on it just yet. He's trying to call there a little bit. There it goes. Let me just show you the what the adult looks like, and have a look at that beautiful yellow and black with the red markings on it too. That beautiful crest. There we go. See that? Really beautiful, but that definitely a juvenile that we saw. Just want to see if there's another picture here. There, look at that. That's also wonderful, vibrant colors. So it's one of the birds we see regularly out here, but it's always nice to see the youngsters. So there were 2 youngsters there. So I wonder if maybe this tree didn't provide a home for them. The barbets burrow holes. They usually dig holes in dead tree stumps, and they nest inside there. So this is possibly its home. Look, there's a number of dead trees around here. It could be anyone, but maybe that's why these young birds are still hanging around. Right, well, I'm heading towards Buffelshoek Dam at the moment. And I'm hoping that we find something interesting soon. But let's go back to Tristan and find out if that situation has calmed down.
Well, it has calmed right down now. So the buffalo are still standing in the road. The lions have now kind of retreated quite a long way. They're back to where they were digging out, well, trying to dig out for warthogs. And so they're very split at the moment as well. There's kind of lionesses all over the place, and the sub-adults are slowly coming back. They're still lingering quite close to those buffalo, but there's not really any intent anymore. I think what they're trying to do is maybe just get back to try and just kind of, regroup, maybe just get some energy again, and then maybe try one more time. But the buffalo certainly are just taking it very easy now as well. They're not chasing the lions down, and the lions, as you can see, are starting to get quite sleepy. So it's gone from absolute chaos to calmness quite fast. And I have a feeling that once all the lions are together again, we're going to have a situation where maybe, just maybe, they might have another go at it. But they certainly will try this again later tonight. If the buffalo don't move too far, they probably trail them. While we were sitting here, though, we also had a leopard calling not too far away. So it sounded like a male leopard calling somewhere around Rebecca's and Zoe's area, maybe even in the drainage line just north of where we are. So it seems like it's all happening in very close proximity to this area. But I'm a bit sad for the Nkuhumas. As much as, it's hard to watch animals get killed, I would have liked for the Nkuhuma pride just to have a really good meal again. A lot of them are still looking on the skinnier side, and the lioness with the injuries is still kind of quite skinny, so it would have been good for her just to get a nice meal. Although the sub-adults look good. They look like they've got nice little round tummies, and so I was hoping that they would get something, but it seems as though no buffalo for them just yet this morning. You can see they're still looking around, some of them, and like I say, the sub-adults are moving. There's some buffalo in the background, and the buffalo are starting to graze again, which means that they've kind of had enough. And so maybe what we're going to find is that the lions are going to just get into a situation where they're going to try regroup and then maybe try and have another go at the buffalo a little bit later. I think it's going to be a morning of us kind of going back and forth with two of Africa's most iconic creatures. Hello, girl. They are epic lions, though, these Nkuhumas. And, we've had this situation where Mara has kind of gone offline for a little bit, and I know a lot of you were concerned about lions and that we weren't seeing many lions when the Mara went off, but the lions have very much come back to the party and kind of shown that they are not going to be upstaged by any lions up in the northeastern corner of Africa. They're going to make sure that they put on just as good a show here in South Africa as well. So nice to see the Nkuhuma pride being back around, and it's a pity the Birminghams weren't with them. I feel like if they had the two Birminghams with them, those buffalo would have been in a lot more trouble than what they are now. Maybe also the Nkuhumas are a bit rusty. I wouldn't be surprised. It's been a while since they've been hunting big herds of buffalo, and so maybe a little bit of kind of sharpening of the technique is needed in order to get them right. Sabi, you thinking nighttime is what they're going to wait for until they go after these buffalo? I suppose so, but you must understand that the buffalo are going to move a long way during the course of the day, particularly if they know there's lions around. They're going to probably start getting into a situation where they're going to think about going quite far and trying to get out of this immediate vicinity. But the nighttime would be better for them. They would have had a much better opportunity to hunt these during the course of the night. And who knows, maybe they did try hunt these particular buffalo last night and went after them and failed and just kind of kept moving with them down this area. I don't think so, though. Those buffalo didn't look very alert at all when we first got here. They looked as though they were quite kind of sleepy, and it was only because the lions kind of ran into that they actually woke up. But you can see how hunting buffalo is hard work, because the other two lionesses on our left-hand side have gone from head up to flat, sleeping, tired. That is what that is. That's from moving all night. Robin, the cub, is fine. It was lurking around at the back here. It was kind of bouncing around close to where the buffalo were, and it was just trotting with some of the sub-adults. So every time one of the sub-adults moved, it moved with them. So cub seems absolutely fine, and is, I think, just a part of this whole process, just wondering what's going on and kind of going and seeing what's happening. I think it's somewhere in the back here. That's where the cub is, with these group that is just slowly coming in now. And so hopefully we'll see it arriving and going up onto the mound and joining everybody else. But they all look okay. Nobody seemed to kind of get caught by any buffalo. Lions are far more agile than the buffalo, so I think everybody's fine. Right. We're going to stay with our lions, and while there's still buffalo around, it seems like a logical place to be, and you never know what might unfold as we go forward. While we do that, let's send you back to Ali and see what she's been up to this morning while the chaos of the buffalo has been ensuing.
Well, we have stayed pretty much far away from the chaos, but we are looking for any cat of our own. But in the meantime, we've bumped into a group of crested francolins that are showing us that they don't only feed on stuff that's on the ground. This one over here is actually trying to get to the seeds of the grass, which are just above it. So I've never seen them do this before, which is quite funny. Please do it again. Maybe he's just like, nope, done it already. They were feeding on part of the elephant dung that is on the road, and it's not uncommon for these type of birds to come up to the dung and try and open it up, because the digestion of the elephants and some of the other bigger creatures may not be as effective, and a lot of the things will come out maybe partially digested, so it's still a good opportunity for them to go and find food. Now, he's moved on to longer grass, perhaps being a little bit shy after his game, but how funny was that? Oh, I loved it. I thought it was great. The rest of the group is coming onto the road now. Aha, and it seems like a tiny chick at the, well, not tiny as they can be, but definitely a youngster. So judging by the different sizes, I think this particular group of crested francolins has managed to raise one of them successfully. And it's hard trying to be a little bird in this area and trying to raise your chicks, because there are all sorts of predators that might come and eat them. Anything from leopards, who would definitely try it, to perhaps genets or civets or mongoose, birds of prey, lots of things that could go for the crested francolin chicks. Now it seems like they have head onto higher ground, well, not higher ground, but taller grass, so I'm going to leave them and carry on with the memory of what a crested francolin jumping looks like. Now, I think I'm gonna head down towards the south of the property just to see. Our beard, you thought he was doing a mating dance. Well, I would have thought so as well. I think some birds of paradise do very complicated jumps and displays when they do that. But I had seen the grass moving, so that's why I was sure it wasn't anything other than, as in, come here, food, I love you type of experience. And all around us, all of the grass still has the seeds and the inflorescence, so it's still the time of plenty for all the animals. And I would say that everyone's looking a little bit on the very well-fed side. I don't think fat is a word that we can ever use with the animals around here, because they're just pure muscle and strength. So even for the birds, I think it's a good one. Now, what tracks have we here? Hoping that we're going to perhaps find some more elephants, and also, of course, I'm going to go into the southern area, which has been my biggest challenge the last few days, to see if we can pick up any tracks for any other leopard. I do know that Byron had one, or is following up on one, which is on the western side of Djuma, and I'm pretty much on the eastern side. So we'll see if there's anything dwelling around here. I hope there is. I'm not too sure we're going to get lucky with lions if the Nkuhumas are here, but fantastic to see that they are here, all of them, or at least the majority of them, including some of the boys. And then, of course, the action. It's like the lions are a little bit tired after all the adrenaline, and I'm sure they're going to need to recover before they attempt anything else again. But let's head over to Tristan, as it seems the lions are still looking quite regal.
They are looking very regal. Well, at least two of the sub-adults are. They're up on this mound where they were trying to dig for warthogs, and they're now just taking a little break and having a bit of a rest. But how beautiful are they looking? They're looking so good. It's crazy to think that 2 years ago these were not even conceived yet, and that they were, just kind of still a afterthought. Well, not even an afterthought. They were in the midst, I suppose the females were in the midst of a takeover at this time. 2 years ago. But they've really grown into beautiful lions, and the Nkuhumas Pride has done so well to be able to raise as many as they have, and it's going to be interesting to see how this pride develops with so many young females going to be joining the ranks, because essentially the pride is going to double in size from an adult female point of view. And you can imagine if you've got 10 lionesses together and at least 6-7 of them have cubs, you have a situation where that pride can go well over 20 very, very, very quickly. So it's going to be an interesting time ahead for the Nkuhumas. I think finding food is going to be their biggest nemesis when the pride grows to that side. Like I say, 10 adult lionesses needs a lot of food in order to survive, and I wouldn't be surprised we see a lot more kind of breaking up of the pride and they move around a little bit independently of one another. But there's the male kind of just turning around. It's probably turning a little bit like that because of the buffalo that are still behind at the moment. Cara, I've never seen termites attack the cats when they sit on the mounds. Most of the time, the cats sitting on big mounds like this, the mounds are well established, which means that they're really, well, not even well established, they're old mounds because of their size, and that means that there often is no termites actually even inside there. You take this mound, for example, this mound is no longer active, and there's no termites actually using this, and that's why things like warthogs are living inside of it. If you had to go to mounds that are active, they generally are a lot smaller and there's no vegetation on them, and you probably find the cats try and avoid mounds like that a lot more than they would big mounds sort of this size that actually allows them the advantage of seeing and being able to kind of see what's going on around them. They like the taller ones because of that reason. So lying on a smaller, still developing mound just doesn't seem like a great idea, I think, for most of the cats. You also probably find that they're quite intuitive. They'll see termites and probably be like, no, well, we're not going to go lie there. Insects crawling on us is not for us, and then they'll just carry on to the next mound. There's so many termite mounds out here that they can lie on. I don't think they really will try and deal with termites too often. But you can see they're still kind of looking over their shoulder. The sub-adults more so than anybody else. The females are still very much asleep. We haven't actually seen the regrouping of all 5 females yet. There's only 2 females with us and 2 sub-adults that we have at the moment. So we're missing quite a number of the pride, and I'm pretty sure they just scattered about around this mound and in this long grass. Once they lie down, it becomes increasingly harder to actually see them. Are you unsure where you want to lie, boy? I think this is the young male. Might not be, though, actually, now that I look at it. So let's see when he gets up. No, it's not the young male. Jared's buddy, this young male that's part of the Nkuhumas Pride, in all likelihood will not join the Birmingham Pride, unfortunately. He's going to have a situation, so it is one of the girls, sorry, they're getting so big now, it's difficult, but he'll have a situation where he won't fight, won't join the Birminghams. He'll be, at that stage, the Birminghams will be almost, sort of 8-9 years old. They're a well-established coalition. They're not going to just allow a young male into their coalition and steal their rights to females and those kind of things, so they'll probably be the ones that will actually chase him out of here and push him away. He could then join with other young males, but I don't think he would join with any older, bigger males from this area. He might be able to find another young male that's moving around that he can join with, but in the long run, he'll be pushed out probably by the Birminghams. He's not going to be able to be a part of the Birmingham coalition, I don't think. Stranger things have happened, though, and I suppose anything is possible, but I don't think so. I think this situation probably means that he'll be cast out alone, which is going to be tough for that young male. He's going to have a really tough time of it. Being a single male out in the greater Kruger Park system is not very good. There's a lot of big coalitions out here and a lot of male lions, and being on your own makes life quite tough. But look at the size of the claw on that lioness. Oh no, she's now, hopefully she'll lick it out again. There it is. You can just see it sticking out a little bit. Massive claws that they've got, and I'm pretty sure she was hoping she was going to get dug into a buffalo at some point today. Unfortunately, though, that's not going to happen. So it's now time to get rid of all the mud and all the bits off of it and try and kind of clean up that coat a little bit. Right, while our lions groom themselves and slowly watch the buffalo in the distance, let's send you back across to Ali, who I believe has found, well, the largest of the large that roam around Djuma.
Yeah, we found a herd of elephants, and it's a breeding herd, but this female is a little bit too curious. I wonder what you're up to. Hey, girl. Now, you see there's a lot of secretion on her temporal gland, and I think she's almost acting as a buffer between us and the rest of the herd that's walking down the road. I think she's just making sure that we're not going to try and approach them. And I wonder what's been stressing the animals, or just in particular the elephants, the last few days. It seems like there's something up in the air that they're not too happy about. I'm not going to go anywhere, don't worry. Now, her attitude is very protective towards the herd. There were a lot of babies that went down the road. I'm not too sure if you guys managed to get a glimpse. And her tail is definitely sticking out. So I'm not going to follow them through the bushes, but I'm quite puzzled. Here we go. There's a lot of rumbling going around. I'm not too sure what it is that could have made them behave this way, or what is going on with the elephants. It's been quite interesting with them the last few days. I don't know if perhaps there is a bull somewhere that's also following them and that's why they're stressed, or if perhaps they can pick up the presence of another predator in the distance, or it could be a myriad of things. They're still rumbling. Not too far from us. They're just in between the thickets here. But like I said, I find it puzzling because it seems like the elephants haven't been that relaxed. But not because of anything to do with humans, but just in the elephant world. And now, it was fairly interesting, and sorry, there's just the one branch in the way. As soon as we approached on the road, we kept obviously our distance from them, and she kept coming. So she stood here just to make sure that we wouldn't go any further, and the rest of the herd walked by and carried on. She was almost as a sentinel, or acting as a sentinel, just to protect the rest of her herd. So obviously we didn't carry on approaching, and we just let them handle the situation and tell us what they're comfortable with. But I'm puzzled. I'm really puzzled as to what's been happening with the elephants. I think maybe either wild dogs have been running around, or lions, or they can maybe hear the lions and what's happened in the distance, or perhaps a big bull elephant. Females tend to get quite annoyed when they start chasing them, and especially if there's one of them that is in heat, or it's coming into estrus and she's not quite ready to mate, then the males get a bit too much and they get annoyed with them, and could be a cause for all of this commotion. So I wonder if we're going to see one of the culprits as to why these females have been feeling this way. Right, they're heading into the bush, so I'm not going to follow them in there. They are still rumbling in the distance. So, another puzzle for the day. I'm just going to carry on down the road, see what else we can find. Perhaps we'll see what it is that has been making them feel a little bit uneasy. And all of them have definitely dashed through the bushes. At least not as quickly as the ones yesterday. There was no stampede involved. Calmly moving across the road, making a swift retreat, rather than trumpeting and running and just causing chaos all around. There were definitely less damaged trees this time around. There we go. There's some more elephants going down the road, and I wonder, down through the bushes. I think Armada Parkson's in a very bad position. What could have also happened is the herd that we saw was heading one way, and this one seemed to be headed the other way. Now, it also can happen that different elephant groups will meet, different herds of females with their babies, and because they don't know each other, or perhaps because they're not related to one another, that can also cause tension for the cubs and the mothers and everything else. So I'm tempted to say, now that we've bumped into this particular group, that it's actually two different groups that were not too happy to see each other. They don't know each other. They've got to protect their young, so they just they fend off in a different direction. I think maybe that's what happened. That would explain parts of the situation. If it were the case, for example, of two herds that knew each other, if they had some sort of common relative, because sometimes elephant groups get a little bit too big, so you'll see that smaller units will start splitting up from the main group and form their own herd. They still recognize each other, and they know that they're part of the same family, so there wouldn't be this stress. You see, even the youngsters, and I'm using the word stress just in terms of that there's something that's disrupted their normal behavior. It's not necessarily that they're super anxious or anything else, but there's something that has heightened their emotions. I think that would be a good explanation, considering that they've gone their separate ways. I'm happy with that. I think we can put this mystery to bed. Definitely what happened. Well, I can never say definitely in the bush, because there's always something that's going to come and surprise us, but I am on that explanation. Now, let's head on. Maybe we'll find some more elephants further down the road. Quite interesting, all the activities now that we have so many herds of elephants around. And I must say, I've been enjoying having so many of them all around Djuma, because it's been elephant after elephant and they're always very entertaining. Seems like Byron is driving somewhere. Let's find out where he's going to.
Well, I'm heading into an area now, Ellie, well, someone's heard a leopard calling around here. Not sure if it's the same leopard whose dung we saw, but and I think they might have some luck. So let's have a look. It was down in this drainage line somewhere around here, and I see a vehicle moving through there. Let's have a look. Maybe we've got a leopard for you this morning. It's quite thick, and I'm hoping that maybe this leopard has decided to move up on a termite mound. Excuse me a second, I'm just listening. Okay, copy. Thanks, M4. Well done. They just found the leopard, and I can see the vehicle. Here we go. We're gonna head down. It's towards an old hyena den. All right, folks. Let's keep our eyes peeled. Well, this is exciting. Hopefully, so I was just going to say, I'm hoping that this leopard has decided to possibly go and lie up on a termite mound somewhere, because this weather, it's nice and cool, and leopards generally enjoy that. It's a nice vantage point for them. I can see, there we go. Hang on, is it the leopard on that termite mound, folks? I saw some movement there. Let's have a look. Hold on. Just going to try get through here quickly. Oh, it's a beautiful big termite mound. Yeah. And I think it is lying there. Okay, hold on. Let's get a position here quickly. No, going through some deep little drainage crossings here. Hopefully our little vehicle can make it. Yeah. Oh wow, what a beautiful leopard right on top of the termite mound. Hold on a second. Just going to position this side for us, Fergs, I think. Oh, don't move. He's sitting there. He goes, just changing position. There we go. Look. Now, I'm not sure who this is. Let's have a look. Wonderful timing. Beautiful scene. Can you see that leopard? The bottom right-hand side of the frame, there it is. It's quite a big male, this. So, I'm not sure. Maybe some of you can have a look quickly. I think it might be this new young male, or this new male Hukumuri. I wonder. Well, let me know. It doesn't look like it's Tingana. This leopard doesn't look quite as old. I know Tingana's good. A lot of scarring in that around. Let's see, maybe you can tell me. Please send your tweets to us, hashtag Safari Live. Let me know. Michelle, you say you think it is Hukumuri. I hope I'm saying that right. Please let me know, Kirst, if I'm saying it correctly. Hukumuri. Apparently a lot of you are agreeing it is Hukumuri. This is wonderful. And as I mentioned, behavior that is quite usual for was quite usual with leopards going on to termite mounds. Now, I heard what sounded like a growl, and apparently this leopard was calling, and that's what got us into this area. But I'm just trying to listen now, because if there's a bit of growling, there might be another leopard around here. He is looking out, and his posture makes me think that there is possibly another leopard around here somewhere. Well, our driving around has paid off, so there's been a lot of excitement this morning. The lion's hunting a buffalo, or trying to hunt a buffalo. This leopard, and this is the first time I've seen this leopard. Beautiful male, lovely male. And you see, that's the wonderful thing about being in this open system of the Greater Kruger National Park. You get a lot of competition from different predators, new males moving in, chasing other older males out. It's good for the gene pool. I know sometimes we don't always enjoy seeing the leopards that we've seen for so many years get injured or pushed out, but it is necessary for nature. And apparently this leopard has been challenging, I think, Tingana a little bit, and also I think have been chasing one or two females. And I think Tandy was, a lot of you were worried about Tandy and her cub, because chances are, if this male finds that young cub, he may kill it. It's purely competition and survival of the fittest out here. New male comes into an area, he wants to mate with the females. If they have got cubs that are not his, he will try and avoid that competition later on, so kill the cubs and then mate with the females. Look at that, beautiful. This is also wonderful for photographers. Sighting like this with the leopard on the mound. Must be honest, I think if I had guests though, I would probably, on the vehicle with their cameras, I would probably move around the other side to get the tree behind the leopard. I'm just listening a second, hold on. I heard a growl. Did you hear something, Fergs? Nina, you asked why do leopards prefer termite mounds? Well, Nina, the simple reason is that a termite mound is very comfortable. It's easy for them to lie down. It's not difficult. It's comfortable. That's basically it. Comfortable spot to lie and have a look around. Sorry, I'm just trying to have a look to see if there's a little gap that I can get around. I'm actually going to go this way quickly. Now, I've driven through this area before. It's not easy. There are a lot of little drainage lines. Might be tricky to maneuver. Djuma Gorge. Yeah. There are some other people in the sighting too. I'll just try to squeeze past them and see where this leopard is going. Okay, I'm going to try get a position and get another view of this leopard. While we do that, let's go back to Ellie and see how her morning's going so far and where she is.
Well, we're trying to find a batelier again. It's just unfortunately flown away onto a bit of thicker vegetation, and I'm not too sure if I'm going to be able to follow it. But it seemed it was carrying something in its mouth, so it looked like a snake, so I would assume that he's made a kill and he's brought it up onto a tree somewhere, but can't really see it from here. So I'm just trying to see if maybe like this. It's on that tree where all the buffalo weavers' nests are. But I'm not convinced that we're going to be able to see it from here, because there are quite a few trees in our way. Now you can hear all of that ding, 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 ding. There it is, the black thing moving in between all the branches. That's the batelier. But it's a very difficult view. Very, very difficult. And unfortunately, there is no road around it. So I am hoping that it's going to move at least a little bit. Just barely see it. Okay, there you go. Couldn't see if it had anything. But there was another one around here, so I'm sure that's the mate. I'm going to carry on trying to see if maybe we can find them again. What are you guys making that racket for? Interesting. These roads, I find they're almost like the road of mysteries. Can you see another batelier? There it is. Okay. Good, well spotted. Now, in front of us, it seems like it's not the one that we saw, but potentially it's pair. Bateliers normally pair for life. Now we're looking at the male. It's missing that white patch underneath the gray one, and that's how we know this is the male. And it's also known as a short-tailed eagle. Now, fortunately, we cannot move to get that one branch that's in its face, but I'm hoping that maybe the other one will come this way. Maybe not. Have you got something there on your feet? Well, it's quite excited. It's very... I know the colors are not working in our favor this morning, but it seems that everything around him is very, very colorful, very red. So his beak is very red, his legs are very red. It's normally a sign of, also like the elephants, almost heightened emotion for the bateliers. Now, tricky spot. I think the road veers down a little bit, so I'm gonna try and see if perhaps we can get a better view of them. I might just fly away, but let's see if maybe we get lucky. Going to try and reposition, see if we can get hold of this batelier, but while we do that, let's head over back to Tristan and the lions.
Well, our lions have now decided it's proper nap time. I suppose after hunting buffalo, they've deserved a bit of a rest for now. Everybody's kind of come together and they've come into the most dense, thick grass that we've got. And so while the rain is delightful, it does make viewing of our lions a little tougher, especially when they're all in long grass. And you can see there's a bit of grooming going on, but pretty much everybody is here. So there's 4 lionesses and 5 of the sub-adults that I can see, and the little cub is also here having a little suckle. It's just in the thick, long grass. Very difficult to see it. There it is, just there on the underside, a little to the right there, fully. There it is. It's just got its head down, up a little bit. There it is. So it's just suckling on its mom behind a whole bunch of grasses. You can see it's almost not kind of invisible below the height of the grass at the moment, so having a bit of a drink of milk. So everybody else didn't get breakfast, but a little cub is still sorted and is getting a really nice kind of feed off mom. So everybody's having a bit of a rest now. I don't think they're going to move too much more from here. Anna Maria, I'm pretty sure they're going to rest most of the day, so I would imagine this afternoon we'll find them in a similar place. I don't think they're going to do too much more hunting this morning, although in saying that, if maybe the buffalo come past again or something does come their way, the conditions I suppose are okay for them to be hunting. It's overcast and fairly cool, so I mean they could hunt right now again if an opportunity presented itself, but I would imagine that their next kind of active looking for food is going to be probably only this evening when it starts to get a bit darker. So I think it's now nap time for the rest of the day. Lions do this. They, funny enough, are quite sort of sleepy during the day here in South Africa. They don't move as much. They tend to do a lot more hunting at night in these areas. You find from what we've seen in the Masai Mara that those lions up there tend to be quite active even during the day, but ours here tend to be a lot more kind of nighttime movers and hunters than daylight. It's not to say they won't though, so we'll just have to see. We'll stay with them for a little while longer. The buffalo seem to be drifting away, but while we spend some time with them and see whether or not they get up and move, let's send you back across to Ali and that batelier eagle.
The batelier is facing roughly in the direction where Tristan is. Now, if the lions manage to make a kill, the batelier would probably be one of the first creatures that would pick up on the fact that there's a carcass and potential food around it. So when we have all of the eagles around this area, there's almost like a net, and it's a connection. Some creatures will find the kill first, and as they start going down, they will attract other birds onto the side. So it's almost like you're pulling this invisible net through. So the battaliers will be one of the first ones that will find the kill, would spot the kill because they're one of the low flying ones. Then perhaps the Wahlberg's eagles, the Tony eagles, the Tony eagles rather than the Wahlbergs, and then they would start pulling all the vultures down. It's normally all about cues and visual communication, so they learn to recognize individual species, and because they feed on the same thing, so they will find each other, and as soon as the one sees the one going down, it will start going down, and then that will attract another one in turn, and so on and so on. Now, I think this particular boy is just very very tired. He keeps putting his head down to the bottom, so I don't think he's too intent on flying away or just looking for food unless he manages to get a very good opportunity. What's interesting though is that we can also see the very short tail at the back. So it doesn't have what we see there that's crisscrossing. Those are the wings, and the tail is pretty much non-existent. Now this is the reason why they're also known as a short-tailed eagle. And what it does, it allows them to do sharper turns when they're flying. So they don't have such stability as some of the other eagles when they fly, because obviously their tail is not as long and they cannot surf or through the air currents as easily as some of the other creatures, but they can turn sharper and quicker than some of the other ones that might need, like an airplane, to do a much bigger turn to then be able to do 360 degree. Whereas these guys have the ability of doing it a little bit quicker, but they're not as stable as some of the other creatures or some of the other birds when they fly. Now, I think you've been very nice to us, and we are going to carry on looking perhaps for any other leopards that might be in this area, although it seems like everyone's in quarantine this morning. Those impala were definitely alarming at a lot of things when we woke up. Byron is following Hukumuri, so let's head over to those two and see what they're up to.
I'm trying my best to follow this leopard. It's quite thick through here at the moment. Hang on, there we go. We've got a nice view of him through there for you. Stacy, good morning, Stacy. You asked what is the biggest male leopard I've ever seen. So, Stacy, I'd have to say I think it's a male leopard that is predominantly kind of the central to northern Sabi sands that I've seen in this area, known as the Anderson male. Some of you might have even seen images of him before, and that leopard, from what I've seen, is the biggest leopard I've ever seen. There was another leopard, I'm trying to think, it was Anderson, and then I'll think of the name. There was another leopard on Mala Mala that I saw a few years ago that was also very, very big. But that Anderson male is massive. He really, really is massive. I was fortunate enough to see him again last year, and he was mating with the female on Londolozi. And I was with guests on a safari there. But he was so big. To see him in proportion to the female, it was amazing. Really, really amazing. I'm just trying to follow this male at the moment. See where he's going. Now there was growling, and I'm sure there is another leopard in the area, or was another leopard in the area. Sorry, let's just try to go past here. Kendall, you curious about leopard territories and when a leopard takeover has been successful? How do we know? Well, what happens usually is, hang on, we should get a view of that leopard is walking in front of us just through there. There we go. Now, Kendall, what will happen is, usually with leopards, when there's a territorial dispute, they actually prefer posturing and trying to show one another up rather than fighting. And I've seen both situations where leopards will walk up and down in a line next to one another, growling, salivating, scent marking, scraping the ground, all of this to show that they are big and strong and more dominant than the other male. And this is usually with males. And then if that is not enough to chase the other one away, then what will happen is a fight will break out, and it's incredibly fast, very aggressive. And once that leopard has won, whoever is dominant, the other one gets pushed out of the territory, and then you probably won't see that other leopard again. Well, definitely not in that area. This one's making it extremely difficult to follow. He's going through some thick bush. I'm trying to stick with him, but it's not always easy. Maneuvering around the trees. But it's interesting, he did stop and growl, and it's almost certain that he did see or smell another leopard. But we haven't seen any sign of another leopard just yet. I'm just trying to have a look here. I'm going to try go around this way maybe. I don't know if this is a wise choice. Let's see. Alright. I'm going to try carry on maneuvering through here. Let's go back to Tristan, find out what those lions are up to now.
Well, Byron, our lions are very sleepy. They're shame. They're having a good nap. Like I say, they've deserved it a little bit. I mean, they were fairly active this morning. They put on quite a show for everybody in the form of chasing buffalo and trying to dig up warthogs. It all kind of went quite chaotic there for a second. So I feel like they've given us quite a bit already, and they are now going to have their well-deserved sleep time, which, as you can see, they're all very good at. They're almost pros at sleeping, these guys. And so I think what we're going to do is probably move on and leave them to their nap this morning because, well, for two reasons. One, I don't foresee them getting up and moving. The buffalo are gone completely from our earshot. We can't hear them anymore at all. And secondly, Viam and I both need to tinkle, which means that we need to get out of here because we can't tinkle right next to the lions. Right, so let's leave these guys on their own. Let's see how they fare. We'll come back this afternoon and try and follow up on them, or even on our way home we'll come past. I actually want to go and see where that buffalo herd went and what they're up to, and whether or not they're still kind of in the general vicinity or if they're making a hasty retreat out of here, because, you know, if I was a buffalo herd, I would be out of here fairly quickly. Patrick, the most dangerous animal in South Africa is undoubtedly the Anopheles mosquito female. So that is the most dangerous animal that we get out here. But if you are referring to big animals, Patrick, probably depends. I suppose elephants in vehicles would be your most dangerous one if you're in a car. If you're on foot, hippo, elephant and buffalo, those three can all be incredibly dangerous. So those three will be ones that you'd all got to watch out for. But I suppose elephant would be the most dangerous for me, not only on foot but even in a vehicle. They can be quite dangerous if they are pushed in the wrong way and their body language and their behavior is not read correctly. You can get yourself into a lot of trouble with elephants. So that would be mine. But like I say, the most dangerous animal, if we include everything, is most definitely the Anopheles mosquito female, the carrier of malaria and the killer of more people than anything else in the whole of this area. Right, oh, there's the leopard right there. So I'm going to actually just stop right here because Byron is following a leopard and I didn't realize they were as close as they were to the lion. So we're going to send you back to Byron, who's over that side and is still with the Hukumuri male.
We are. Sorry, just hold on a second. Just hold on. I think that car's going to move for us shortly. And he's coming out into the clearing. Let's go forward a little bit here quickly. Sorry, folks. Sorry. Just trying to get... And I think Ferg was saying that... Tristan was saying that... that these lions were really close. Now, I'm not sure where they are exactly. I think some of the other guys know, but hold on, we're going to get a nice view of this leopard. Here we go. Is that right, Fergs? So, yeah, I think these lions are just down the road. There we go. Nice view of the leopard. It's quite thick at the moment. I think Fergs is getting a bit frustrated with leopard dodging or hiding behind the bush. Is he going to come out? Yeah, he stopped through a gap there. Hold on, Fergs. He's going to come back. He's now coming back. Hold on. Some impala alarm calling. I think these impala have seen him, so that's what they're alarm calling at. But now this could potentially alert the lions, and the lions might come and investigate. I don't know what he saw. Let me reverse quickly for us. Really giving us a bit of a wild goose chase here. Oh, that's such a lovely view. Hold on. There we go, Fergs. Prime position for you, sir. Look at that. Now, I think this leopard is curious. He wants to know. Oh, listen. Oh, wow. Wow, wow. Did you hear that? Now, that again, territorial calling. I think this leopard is thinking that maybe these impalas saw another leopard, so he has come to investigate. All the growling makes me think there was another leopard in the area, and that's why he's a little on edge. All this this roaring, or the sawing of a leopard, that's a territorial call. Jim, I'm not sure if Hukumuri smells the lions or not. Very possible. I mean, their sense of smell is incredible. It really is very, very good. I think he's more curious about a leopard that might be in the area. You can see he looks very, very alert. He is salivating slightly. Do you see just below there on his? You just saw a drop off the chin. It's all signs of aggression. And I think he just wants to make sure that these impala didn't see a leopard that he missed, perhaps. That's why he's looking around like this. He would also be very cautious of the lions, make no mistake. He doesn't want to just bump into them. But I think this behavior is because he thinks there's another leopard around here. I was just thinking about the other leopards that I've seen, the large leopards. So the leopard that I saw on Mala Mala a few years ago, it was really big. His name was Emsa Gwen male, and then this Anderson male that we see occasionally, also on Londolozi. Oh wow, beautiful, walking right past us. So those are the two largest leopards I think I've ever seen. Sorry about the aerial. Walking up and down, smelling. He's definitely picked up on the scent of something. And again, this is typical behavior of a leopard that's coming to a new area. He's looking to establish a territory. He wants to challenge whatever leopards are here. He wants to know which leopards are around. It's actually very interesting behavior. So he'll constantly patrol, try to pick up on the scent, understand which females are around, which males are around, which young leopards are around, what is a threat, what isn't a threat. The scent marking, the calling, all very typical behavior of a leopard that's just come into a new territory. Where did he go? Can you see him, folks? There he goes. There he goes. There he goes. He's disappearing through there. Now I'm curious. I wonder where these lions are in relation to where we are now. There we go. Nice view of him. Beautiful. Sure, well, we've been very fortunate with our cat sightings the last few days. See again, scent marking. Do you see how they jump up? Leopards often do that, they'll jump up. Listen. Wonderful, another roar from the leopard. OT Bobby, when lions and leopards encounter each other, usually what happens is a leopard will try and jump up into a tree and get out of the way of the lions. There he is. Sorry, just hold on. See again, a lot of scent marking, constantly scent marking. So AT Barbie, all that will happen is the leopard would probably try and run away and jump up into a tree and get out of the way, out of reach of those lions. If lions do corner a leopard, they'd most likely try to kill it and would attack it. But I have seen footage of a single male leopard holding his own against 3 or 4 lions. I mean, they're incredibly fast, very aggressive, very powerful cats. And a leopard turning around and hitting the lions as they tried to attack him. And I think he actually survived that ordeal, but it's usually, if lions corner and catch a leopard, they will try and kill it. Purely for competition, no other reason. Not to eat, just competition. Alright, I'm just going to try to jump on the road here quickly, because it'll be a bit easier. And I don't really want to drive too much off-road here, because we have had a bit of rain. It's quite wet, and this area is seep line. I can just see a lot of terminalias, the silver cluster leaf. They indicate a species of a seep line, so I don't want to drive through there in case we damage the land in the area and possibly get stuck. Let's have a look. Where is he? There he is. There he is. Now this is the road we are on now is Shabamu Road, and this is where Tristan was earlier with the lions, around here somewhere. I love that rasping sound of the leopard, that rasping roar. A lot of you have asked me in the past to do that roar for you, and I'm not that good at it. No, we don't. I don't want to do it now. I don't want to challenge this male while he's calling. maybe he gets the wrong impression. Okay, well, I wonder if Tristan and Viam have finished their little break that they needed. Oh, it's a beautiful shot of that leopard jumping into the tree. Let's. I'm going to try to stick with this male, see where he goes. But let's go back to Tristan and Viam. Just find out if they're still with the lions or where they are now.
Well, we left the lions. Like I said, we needed to tinkle, so we had to go and relieve the old bladder. And both of us are feeling far better about life since doing so. The lions didn't respond at all to those alarm calls at Hukumuri. We could see Hukumuri from the road, and the lions just sat there and they listened for a bit and then flopped back down again. So I think they're in comatose state at the moment. And so what we're doing now is we're just backtracking behind where Hukumuri came from, because Taxon said he heard growling in the bush and he heard what sounded like another leopard there. And so I'm just doing a backtrack just to see if maybe we pick up this other leopard that was sitting around this area. You never know. Maybe it's around. It could be any of these leopards. I mean, we don't know. The last time we saw Tumba was right here, so hopefully it wasn't Tumba that was being chased around. And James, you say, what about Djuma? I was also thinking Djuma, and so was Tax. we know Djuma can be a little bit elusive, so maybe that's why he hasn't actually been seen. So we thought we'll just backtrack it. Maybe we get lucky, maybe we don't. It's worth a try though while the lions are still very sleepy, just to kind of see what's going on, see where the buffalo have headed, and just generally catch up with the morning's proceedings. Liam and I have had a delightful morning in that we've driven not even 1 kilometer and we've had so much happen already, and so it's been a good day so far, and hopefully the luck will continue for the rest of Feline Friday, and that Ali will find something of interest as well, and she'll be able to find a cat as well to, well, complete a cat trifecta from the Djuma crew this morning. It would be really nice if that was the case. So hopefully it will be, and hopefully Ali will find something somewhere, maybe Tundi. Tundi would be nice. I think Tundi would be a good find. And so we'll just have to see how it goes. Now, I wonder which mound they were on. I don't even know. I'm just looking at the tracks here of the vehicles. They haven't turned off the road yet, so I don't know if it was on the southern or northern side. There is a termite mound that I know Hukumuri sat on a few times. Tumba sat on a few times on my right. So I just want